This is what it's like to stay at the Sheraton Grand Taipei Hotel in Taipei, Taiwan. In this video, I'm gonna show you around the hotel. I'm gonna show you around the inside of one of the rooms, the diplomatic suite king bed room that I booked a basic room and I was upgraded to as a titanium member. I'm gonna share with you my pros and cons, and I'm gonna let you know whether you should consider staying here on a visit to Taipei or not. All right, let's go. The Sheraton Grand Taipei Hotel is a 17-story, very big hotel, centrally located in Taipei, just a 10-minute walk from Taipei Main Station. This is where the airport MRT comes in and also where the high-speed rails come in. The closest exit is exit M7. Now, it's directly on top of the Shandao Temple Station on the MRT Blue Line. From there, you can go out exit 2, and it's literally on the same block as the hotel. Although if you have big luggage, you might want to go out exit 3, where they have an elevator, and cross the street. There's definitely not a lot of touristy stuff right around the hotel. This is definitely more of a business district, but the Blue Line will get you to pretty much all of the touristy stuff. Oh, and if that doesn't, you can get to Taipei Main Station to get you pretty much anywhere else. At the front entrance to the hotel, they have a big valet drive where they do valet parking, also plentiful taxis and Ubers around here. All right, now as you head in the main door, you come into the lobby. It's a big lobby. They've got some red flower plants. While I was here, check-in desks in the back. Over here to the left, a little bit of a waiting area. Over here to the right, more waiting area, and the bell desk to hold your luggage. Just to the left of the check-in areas, the hotel's buffet restaurant, breakfast buffet, lunch buffet, dinner buffet. Elite Marriott members can select their welcome amenity as a breakfast for 2 people at this restaurant. The buffet here, pretty solid, good Asian eats, passable Western eats. We'll talk about that in the cons section. It can get quite busy, so if you want to eat breakfast here, get here early, because if you come here around 9 o'clock, this is definitely the wait to get in. To the right of the check-in area is the Jingxi Books and Tea. This shop, as far as I can tell, is to bring back all your tea souvenirs and maybe some of your favorite Chinese literature. In the basement level, in addition to some conference facilities, there's a few more restaurants. There's a pizza pub for Italian food, open for lunch and dinner. There's a florist down here, no doubt to serve the weddings at the hotel. And there's the Dragon Cantonese restaurant. Now, up on the first floor, above the buffet, there's a Japanese restaurant, open for lunch and dinner. A Thai restaurant that's also open for lunch and dinner. Do note, though, that the lunch and dinner hours for each of these restaurants kind of varies a little bit. And a third restaurant called the Antone Room that I honestly can't tell what this place is from the outside, but it's got some wines and looks pretty fancy on the inside. Now there's 2 sets of guest room elevators, one that goes up by the buffet in a big atrium. This one will take you up to the gym fitness center. The other one will take you up to the club on the other side. So let's start going up the fitness center. Cool elevators where you can see the whole breakfast buffet downstairs. And up on the 17th floor in the fitness center, it's a fairly small fitness center for such a big hotel. Has a number of cardio machines, but does have nice windows that look outside on the city. The 17th floor also has a cosmetic spa, a sauna that is naked, so no photos in there, and a swimming pool that was closed for the winter. Now on the 17th floor through the other elevators is the Sheraton Club Lounge. This is where elite members can get breakfast, afternoon tea, and happy hour, which is a pretty solid dinner offering. If you don't want to get dinner anywhere else, you can definitely make dinner here at happy hour. Though they do have an interesting 60 or 80-minute time limit for seating. Now the breakfast at the Club Lounge, still good by Marriott Club standard, but definitely a lot smaller than the one downstairs. They do still do cook-to-order eggs up here, which was pretty nice. It seemed much less busy here in the Club Lounge, so if you do have access to the lounge and you're here on a really busy day, well, the lounge might be the place to have your breakfast if you don't want to wait. Interesting, they also have a couple of meeting rooms in the Club Lounge that you could reserve if you need to have a meeting, which also kind of have neat views out on Taipei from the 17th floor. That's the Ministry of the Interior down there with the red roofs. Now the room I was assigned was in the atrium side of the hotel, so you've got this little atrium that you can look down on the breakfast buffet down there. But what's interesting about this is it's glassed in. There's glass right there. And at first I was like, oh, well, maybe they're worried people are gonna fall down. But I actually think it has more to do with keeping the noise down from the buffet on these floors. Keeps these floors very quiet. This has usually been my issue at like embassy suites. They're usually this kind of design, but no glass. And then the whole hotel and hallways are very loud. So I like it nice and quiet up here. Although at first when I got up here and was entirely glassed in, I thought it was just a little bit on the weird side, but I get it now. Housekeeping every morning starts their morning briefings. You can see them lined up on every floor to go out and clean the rooms. Now that we've seen everything around the hotel, let's check out the inside of one of the rooms. This is room 1251, a diplomatic suite king bed on the 12th floor. It has 2 rooms. It has the living room and it has the bedroom. And right as you come in the front door, it has the first toilet room. This is just a toilet room and a sink. We're gonna see the shower later. But this is one of those fancy toilets that like bidets and all that sort of stuff. All right, as we come in the main living room part of the room, we've got a television that's over there. We've got a nice desk over here on the side. What's on the desk? Look at all these cool office supplies that are on the desk. I've never seen this before in a hotel. We've got staplers, paper clips, whiteout, a ruler, and an eraser. Fancy, and a sign that says no smoking, please. This is a connecting room, so you could connect it with another room over that way. Sofa, chair, complimentary bottles of water, some fruit as a welcome amenity, and then there's a little shelf, and this is the hotel's mini bar. Some alcoholic beverages that are not complimentary. You can see the prices right here. Those are in Taiwan dollars. It's about 30 Taiwan dollars to $1 US. We've got a whole complimentary tea and coffee set over here, and then just below that, we have the little mini fridge in the room that is the mini bar, plus some space to put your drinks with an interesting kind of purple black light in there. Okay, this gets us into the king bed bedroom part of the room. One big king bed, nice headboard that goes all the way up, nice lighting in the ceiling, like kind of embedded lighting, so none of it's in your eyes. Big windows on both sides. What do I look out at? Well, it's nighttime right now, so it's not that interesting, but in the daytime, it looks like this. Now coming back into the bedroom from the window, we've got a little chair over here with some more complimentary water, a television in this room as well. Then we have the bathroom that has the bathtub in it. We get around there this way. There's some glass. There's a shade that goes up and down if you don't want to look into the room. There's the very nice kind of executive feeling closet, all very woody in here. Let's take a look at the closet from a little more distant of an angle so you can see in there. We've got an ironing board, iron, robes. There are slippers down here. There is an umbrella. And then there's plenty of drawers for you to put your stuff in, the in-room safe, and the hairdryer up here, and a bag for your laundry, if you're so inclined to have the hotel do your laundry. In the bathroom, we have a big soaking bathtub. This is what you saw from the other way. In addition to the thing to fill it, it also has a nice handheld shower, so you can kind of like shower yourself in the tub, which is always nice. It also has a little laundry pulley thing that you can pull across so that you can dry your laundry, which is a nice touch too. To toss your towels or wet things in, it's also nice they've got this thing on the floor that you can put your towels in when you're done with them. Over here in this little glassed-in room, we've got the second toilet in the room. It is also one of those fancy toilets that washes bidets, etc., etc. We have the sink here with a nice mirror on top. Only one sink though. Interesting, it's not a dual sink. A little shelf space over here so you can put a lot of stuff in. And finally, the shower part of the bathroom with a handheld, only, no fixed head. But you can just go ahead and turn that around, and then we've got these common amenities right here. In January 2025, Taiwan can no longer provide disposable amenities, so the comb and the toothbrush and the stuff that you would have seen out here, no longer. All right, fellow explorers, if you watch my hotel reviews regularly, you'll now know it's time that I'm joined by Topher, my traveling panda, who helps me review these hotels. I'm Chris, he's Topher. Together we make Christopher, and we review hotels on a scale of 1 to 5 Tophers. So Topher, how many Tophers is the Sheraton Grand Taipei gonna get? It's gonna get what? It's gonna get what? It's gonna get 4 Tophers. Now I will say, we struggled with this a little bit because I feel like my experience of these last 2 days is absolutely a 4.5 Topher experience with the upgrade to the suite, but I don't think you can always count on the upgrade to the suite, which is why we normalized on 4 Tophers. So now let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons of why this hotel got 4 Tophers. First, I need to tell you about how much I paid to stay here. I redeemed my Marriott points for this stay. Actually, I redeemed my Marriott award certificate that I get get for having the Marriott credit cards every night. The first night was 29,000 points, the second night was 32,000 points. My overall out-of-pocket expense was $0, but when I look at the cash rates at this hotel, they generally run between 200 to 300 US dollars per night. Pretty comparable with the other Marriott branded properties in the city. Taipei, I find, is a fairly expensive city for nice hotels. All right, I thought I'd come outside to finish the review with a little more interesting scenery here in the background. I'm just outside the hotel in front of the Shandao Temple Station, exit number 2, the closest one to the hotel. You can walk from the hotel right to the station. You can only need to be like in the rain for 3 feet. So that's the first pro. I think it's a pretty great location in Taipei, quite central to Taipei Main Station. I love that you can get to the MRT on the same block as the hotel. Even though it's not close to any tourist attractions, you know, Taipei is such a big place, you're gonna be taking the MRT around a lot, and it comes really frequently, so that's not a huge con. Oh, by the way, when I say the location is good and there's a 10-minute walk from Taipei Main Station, I mean from exit M7 of Taipei Main Station. The station itself is very big, and if you're taking the MRT from the airport to the Taoyuan Airport MRT stop at Taipei Main Station, it can be a 20-minute walk from here just to get to exit M7. So if you're coming in from the airport on the MRT, you'll probably want to take a taxi to the hotel, unless you're inclined for more of a 30-minute walk. Now, if you are planning to walk to the hotel from Taipei Main Station, just know there's probably a little bit of stairs involved to take the shortest path. Exit M7 right here, this has stairs. There's an elevator that you can take from M7 that brings you back out here. But when you do get out to the street this way, you've got 2 choices. You need to cross this intersection. You can either cross on this bridge that I'm standing on, steps to get up here, or you can cross it via tunnel down here, steps to get down there, to then get to the Sheraton. If you don't want steps, take the MRT from Taipei Main Station to the Shandao Temple Station, exit 3, and cross the street. Other pro, certainly for me, was the treatment as a Marriott Elite member. The upgrade to that diplomatic Suite King on a points reservation was quite fantastic. I don't know that you can count on that every time, but it was great. I did not use a confirmed suite upgrade. There's many hotels that just like by policy now don't upgrade Elite members to suites at all, so it's great to see this hotel still does that. Also, the breakfast included in that main restaurant, that was a elite choice that I could make as like breakfast in there. Although I also had access to the lounge, so I could get breakfast in there, but I took the breakfast in the buffet. Solid buffet, lots of food. The Asian food's definitely better than the Western foods. I really don't get pancakes without maple syrup. Sheraton Taipei, if you're watching this, please get maple syrup for your pancakes and your French toast. It's not right without maple syrup. Sleep quality was really good. I enjoyed sleeping in the room. I enjoyed the big room. The room was kept very clean. I like the desk in the room. I like the refrigerator in the room. No ice machines on the floor. You do have to call for ice, but the ice was there 3 minutes after I called for it each night. I found the staff to be courteous and efficient, although definitely rule followers. If there was a rule in the book, they were gonna follow it. And an example of that was when I went up to the fitness center to look around. I could look around the gym, but I couldn't look around the sauna. I could use the sauna, but to use the sauna, I needed to fill out this form before I could go fill out the sauna. I'm like, well, can I see it before if I decide I wanna use it? No, you have to fill out this form to go into the sauna. Well, can I look at it to see if I want to use it? No. You can only use it. You can't look at it. Okay. How do I use it without looking at it? I'm sure that's just a little bit of lost in translation, but it was a weird service approach to the fitness center and the sauna. But there's a con related to that breakfast too. I feel like there are so many people in the hotel that do eat the breakfast there that the breakfast gets really busy and it feels more like a feeding trough than it does a refined breakfast buffet. They had these big stanchions for lines out there for people to queue for the buffet. I don't know what you do when you have a popular buffet like that, but I felt like I was kind of like rushed at the buffet. Same issue I had in the club lounge where at the like happy hour time, they would give you a time limit, 60 or 80 minutes. And I don't mind because I'm not gonna be there that long, but they write the time that you have, the time you need to leave on this little card that they give you to put on your table. And so every table has one of these cards on it, and they're super precise on their 80 minutes. They wrote down my departure time was 1944, 7:44. They didn't round it up to 45, 7:44. Get out. I also feel like they're not super family friendly here because the lounge doesn't allow children under 12. So then that means any kids are down at the main breakfast buffet, but then they also only include 2 breakfast buffets per room. So if you've got 2 adults and a kids, then you're paying more for the kids. And the final con, while I say the location's great, there's nothing right around the hotel, so it definitely feels like a little bit of a boring business district. The hotel also definitely seems to cater to a lot of tour groups, so there were a lot of people at times in the lobby going up to the elevator. Sometimes I had to wait for a few elevators. That tends to be just when you get groups of people in and you get groups of people out, what you end up with. So it's not a small boutique hotel, it's a very big business and convention hotel. So now to the question of would I stay here again, and should you stay here? I absolutely would stay here again. I feel like of the Taipei hotels I've stayed in, this is my new favorite. I like the location that is close to the MRT. I like the breakfast offering. I like the room. And I like that if you have Marriott points, the price is very reasonable. The fact that I could use my Marriott annual credit card award nights for this stay, entirely free, super great. And I think at $200-ish a night is pretty reasonable compared to the other hotels in the city. On this trip, I also stayed at the Episode Da'an Taipei. That's a Hyatt affiliate. That's a new hotel. So if you want to check out my review of that one, you can check it out right here. Also a great location, but I like the Sheraton better. You can watch the review and see why. If you want a hotel that is a nice big business hotel that has kind of the standard Sheraton amenities, particularly if you're a Marriott Elite member that gets you access into the lounge and the breakfast, absolutely. If you're looking for something a little bit boutique-y, small, luxurious, and memorable, then maybe this isn't it, because this is a big service offering for you. All right, if you want to see my review of the Episode Da'an Taipei, you can check that out right here. You can also check out my review of the Mitsui Garden Hotel here in Taipei, or you can check out my whole Taipei travel guide right here. All right, fellow explorers, as usual, I want to say goodbye, because I'll see you in the next video.